Yes, there is room for failure and it is okay, because when you fail, it is how you learn. You don't mind your money, and where your money goes, it will just go. And do not be shy about it or embarrassed about it. A serious rental crisis, and that's why there's a lot of appreciation for that. That was my yummy plate for goodness. Exactly what I was thinking it was gonna be. Hola, beautiful people. Happy week or happy new month, whichever this is. How are you? If it's your first time seeing me, my name is Janet, and in this channel we do everything: education content, lifestyle content, hair content, parenthood and motherhood content, and a bit of travel content as well. Welcome to this week's video, but if you haven't watched the other previous week's video, please take a pause, have a look what's up, what's going on in my channel and other previous videos. Then make sure to subscribe, because I've got 124 subscribers. I do not want to put any pressure on myself or anybody with road to 1000 or road to 2k or whatever, but I would really appreciate it if you're going to subscribe to our channel. Give our videos a like, give our videos, you can share our videos wherever you find useful, but please click, hi. please click the like button and subscribe. Anyway, this week's video, it's a continuation from a previous video, but I thought that this segment I'll probably cut it out for me to make like an introduction to this week's video before we dive in, because you'll find the conversation, you'll feel like the conversation is midway, and it's because I was shooting another video and it was I was editing another video, sorry, and it was too long for me to combine all that into like one video, and I realized that this particular segment is actually really informative. Why not put it as the beginning of the next video that I do? So I hope you enjoy the content so far, and thank you so much to the guys who reach out to me via Instagram messages. Thank you so much, my crew. Thank you so much. Whenever I post a video and you guys are there watching, clicking the link on Instagram, coming over to YouTube and giving me feedback on the content, or even just giving me like encouragement to keep on going, that you're enjoying my videos. Thank you so much. All right, share with your friends. This content is just to give you a perspective on what life is like in Australia, having let's say relocated like an immigrant from relocated as an immigrant from, let's say, a country like ours, that is Kenya, or people who look like me. This is just our day-to-day life, nothing extraordinary. This is how we live our day-to-day life, with a few bits and interesting pieces over there, but mostly it's just our day-to-day life. All right, I think that's a really long intro. Let's dive into the video. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and this particular friend just recently got a job here. I'm sorry, the sound and audio of this will be all over the place, but I'm just thinking, I'm doing errands and I'm moving from point A to point B. I'll probably just, go on and on as I'm talking. Anyway, so this particular friend got a job, and I don't want to say, she just had some questions about the work culture of a particular place. I happen to have a bit of knowledge. I thought maybe this is something important to share with everybody. This is obviously generalized, very generalized. It's not specific to anywhere or anyone, very generalized. So when you start working at a new place, it might feel like it's a bit tough to blend in or start or even assimilate. I think assimilate is the right word, and this happens to everybody no matter where you go. So as I was saying, that place already had a culture, it had people, it had a team that was working together, and then I come in as a new person. Obviously, coming in as a new person, you feel, oh, I feel out of place. But then it was particularly unique for myself because, and other people who would probably be in the same position as myself, this was the first time I was getting a job in a country, in a new country. I wasn't job ready, in short. And by being job ready is I was looking for a job for not the wrong reasons, but one of the reasons is I was bored at home. So I really wanted to get busy and get things done. So the decision for me to start work was purely based on I really need to be doing something. I can't be staying at home all day because it's a small town and there's nothing much to do. And then after 1 or 2 months after you relocate and you've started settling properly, you feel like I need to be useful, you know. You can't be on vacation for endless vacation for like that long. So anyway, my motivation was one, obviously, to get something to do and also to understand the job market here. At the time when I was joining that particular place I was working, is I thought I would be in that profession because I had an interest in it. I found a culture and I was having a hard time assimilating. Just put it out there, it's not that it was a toxic work culture, not at all. Very supportive people, but it was a special circumstance for myself, given this is the first time I'm getting a job. I don't know how people work here. I don't know how you relate to your colleague. It was super junior, and I knew it's a junior position that I was applying for. But here's the thing, I thought that I would prove myself to be more valuable to these people as quickly as possible and move from that position that I didn't want. So I was taking that position as a stepping stone to what I needed or where I needed to be. But then I was working, or any other organization that you're working, yes, they can read your qualifications, they can read what you're capable of doing on paper, but you really have to prove yourself, and room has to be created for you to prove yourself. I don't know if I'm making sense. So like I'm saying, the junior position that I had applied for, that's what I got. So their expectations of me was I'm going to do up to this point. Then the expectations that I had of myself was of me now setting these expectations for myself without communicating, is I am going to go above and beyond. And what this did was I got myself shut down a few times, and which felt like shutting down, but to the person who was doing or guiding me was basically saying, I know you can do these things, but this is not how it works here. And I had to tell myself to calm down. Calm down. Give yourself grace. Once you get, and I'm specifically talking to people who are immigrants and new immigrants, and especially of African descent, and particularly if you've trained in an African country, it's very competitive the way you train. Same competition, since I'm still in school here, it is the same attitude, but it's not as competitive that it's detrimental to your self-esteem. And this is what I mean. I'll speak to where I trained. You're graded as the best person, or you're I don't know even how to explain. Like, the training is be the best of the best of the best, and there is no room for failure. But what I've realized since I'm training here as well is, yes, there is room for failure, and it is okay, because when you fail, it is how you learn. And do not be shy about it or embarrassed about it. So this is tying into coming down. So I had to speak to myself, and obviously after talking to my partner, my husband, about what was going on, and also him being fresh into the work environment as well, we had to pep talk each other and tell each other. So we need to calm down. Like, trust the process, calm down. If they give you a role that's so junior, there's value in it. Instead of wallowing and saying, you know, where I was levels 3, this and this. Here I am at this level, I feel so awful and bad about myself. Remember, this is your first time working in that environment or in this environment. You don't know. Yes, you have the job. Whatever field that you've done, it doesn't change. Not that you're abroad that it changes, but there are other finer things and how they do and not only finer things, there are other systems and like admin work, really baseless things, to be honest, but they're important for you to learn, for you to be an all-rounded professional, not only your papers but all-rounded. So finer skills, soft skills, communication, how things are run, and also just having fun. Because you spend let's say you spend 10 hours a day, so you spend 40 hours a week in your workplace. You want for it to not be dreadful. You want to enjoy what you're doing. And I understand most people, actually, we are working to pay bills. But that shouldn't be it. So watch your pressure, calm down. Ukianzia pale chini ama hata ukianza on a higher level and you're being schooled about this is how we file our papers. Just being oriented not only on paper and on your qualifications, but also you're being oriented into the work culture. So calm down, okay? Maisha Maju means you are the house manager, and not like how we think at a domestic manager or whatever. Like literally, I was telling my friend the other day, I'm looking for a spot to put you guys. I would put in my CV, I am a house manager, honestly, because I've just come back to the house now. And nikasikia, today has drained me. Nikaangalia ni saa ngapi? Ni saa 5. Only saa 5. Only saa 5. So my house manager, this is what I need. Hatuna sabuni, oh my gosh. I need to go get dishwashing soap. The reason why I'm not impressed about it is because I usually wash my dishes with the dishwasher, but when I need to wash and my hands, as you can see, but when I need to wash my my other dishes, but like these silicone ones, I prefer to wash them by hand because the taste of the soap is actually transferable to like the soap, is transfers or sticks to the silicone and it tastes soapy. Anyway, I was saying about being a house manager. Today I've done all admin work that I needed to do. Not all, partial admin work that I needed to do this week. Yesterday I did part of it, and it is involving a lot of invoicing and going through invoices, because if you don't mind your money and where your money goes, it will just so we needed to understand our finances, where our finances are going. So I needed to sit down. So like yesterday we had that. You remember in another video I had mentioned about how our daycare fees, we were not granted hours, and then we were back to paying full fee. So we still owed them some money, but fortunately that money had been sent to me by the Services Australia Centrelink. So I have to just pay them. I'll sit down when I get a chance, I'll pay them, or when I go in I just pay with FPOS because it's in my account. Anyway, money had already been sent to me, so that's not money out of our pockets. But then the other thing that we needed to figure out is our rent. Our rent has been increasing annually. Here's the kicker, my friend. Cost of living. Mungu tu tuonekanie. Because when I got into this house, we only had this house, we paid rent for a year for $300. It's a $300. Sorry, 3 is this. It's a 2-bedroom house. It has a garage. It has a tiny backyard at the back and a clothesline. But also this other side is like a backyard, but there's a lot of pebbles. Well, there's much you can use it, but we don't use it as much. So this 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and downstairs toilet cost us $300. That is back in 2022. Now we are in 2025 and we are currently going up to $450. $150 increase in a span of less than 4 years. Like, it's mental. Honestly, it's mental. And every day I am just struggling to accept that I am going to pay $450 for a place that, one, yes, they've done upgrades, granted. Every owner who has been here, and the previous owner was very wise because he did so many upgrades, and that actually he sold for like, he had the biggest jump in terms of how much he sold the property for. Like, so let's start. When you came in at $300 per week, the house was only what was in this house? So just the structure, very nice. It's an old building, but it's a brick townhouse that was built in 93. We didn't have any air conditioning anywhere in this house. Granted that now that we're used to air conditioning, but before then it was livable without air conditioning because the house is cool. They've done proper insulation, and the advantage of this house, it's facing this east west, so it's west facing, meaning that when the sun rises from this side, we don't get the sun directly. So in the evening, that's when the sun, and it's getting cooler, so that's when the sun comes from this other side. Anyway, so with that in mind, we had no AC. So the first owner did air conditioning on the living room area and the master bedroom. So we've got air conditioning, 2 air conditioning, which was perfect, and it was working so well for a year. But then the longer we stayed here, it became warmer and warmer for some reason. We had the warmest summer, and it was unbearable in the bedroom that we were using, because the master bedroom is large and it has large windows, and we prefer blackout curtains and like pitch black when sleeping. So we could not use that room. We went to another side where it had only a tiny window where we could work with that and do blackout stuff there. So the other side was left, this is before baby, was left for office and just bare. So here we are. That's now 2022 to 2023. They have upgraded the house with 2 air conditioning. Then we go to 2024, 2022 to 2023. 2023 to 2024, we got another owner. So now that we didn't have many changes, and at this point now we had a baby. So now the baby came and went to be staying in that room that had air conditioning, because we can control the temperature, because they can't regulate themselves. So we can control, like, not that they can't regulate themselves like body temperature, but they can't like open or, you know, cover up when they need to. So we decided we go and do that. The room is their nursery, so it became the nursery stroke office, and then we still continue staying in this room, no AC at this point. Then we got now the owner later in 2023, the current, the immediate previous owner. We got that owner in end of 2023, I think October, November. And he came in, he was a lovely guy. He used to live next to us in the same complex. And then he came, did the inspection, and he's like, yeah, I bet I can get this house for this value, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I should put the values, because the value, I don't have the numbers in mind, but let's say they bought this house for $280,000. So they came to us and asked us, so you guys, what do you think we should upgrade in this house? So we gave them a list. At this point, we had a baby who was already in weaning, so we needed a dishwasher, and we had were ready to buy the dishwasher. We just wanted his approval. Can we buy the dishwasher and install it, and then we can sell it to you once we're leaving the house, or whatever you want to do? He said, you know what, no, I can't do that. So dishwasher, check. What else do you need? We said our bedroom will probably need 1 more AC. They said, okay, check, I can do that. Then we had an incident years ago about this particular area that I'm talking about, like the other side. This is the area, let me show you. This part is where I'm talking about. So it stretches all the way to the back and all the way to the clothesline, like that. But now this was open all the way to the back. That means you could have access, like many houses here, you can have access to anyone's backyard. Even now, you can still have access to our backyard. But then what creeped us out that other time, when we had an incident whereby someone came back to our house, and I confronted them and asked them what they were doing. They were looking very sus, blah blah blah, and the story was also sus. We had to call the cops, yada yada yada. Anyway, due to that, we asked, okay, maybe, I don't know about putting like a gate, because he asked, would you mind, for security reasons, would you want anything? Saying, I don't know, whatever you want to offer, we are happy. So he said, you know what, I'll give you this gate, and then at the back he blocked and put a screen there, such that the balcony, I want to call it the balcony, they call it alfresco, so let's call it alfresco. So the alfresco has been partitioned, and it has like a black screen, and then we have now the house starting, so it looks like its own room on its own. Now keep in mind these things that he's doing. So that's at $280, 80,000, sorry. So he upgrades that, and then a few months later he comes to us and tells us, at this point our rent had been increasing every year, but it had increased from 300 to 320. So 300 for 2022, 320 for 2023. So come 2024, we need when our new lease was being renewed, when rolling over, a rental increase was due. And he asked us, actually he didn't ask us. He went straight ahead, and the agents, the property manager advised him, with what all the upgrades that you've done and yada yada, and the market price right now at that particular area, the rent should be at $400. And you're like, oh my god. So they sent us the list, and they said the new price had said $400 per week, and you're like, what, $80 increase? So like I said, he was a cool guy, friendly guy. So he asked us, guys, what would you want? Because the property manager said 400, but you know what, I don't have to put an upgrade to 400. What is a reasonable price? We said 360, and he said, okay, let's do this. I can meet you halfway. Let's meet at 380. He said, okay, fine. At this point, our life was continuing, and our life is still continuing, but we've not had a reason to move from this house, as we are doing other things around our life, because we wanted to make one big move. Once, if there's any changes that we need to do, like let's do like one massive change, because moving means bringing removalists. It's not a hard job, but just if you don't need to, we can just stay. Then number two, where we live is literally like, I can even throw my shoe very very hard, it would land at the hospital. So it was very close, very very close to the hospital, like literally a 5-minute walk and you're at work. So it was convenient. So we've not had a reason to. Okay, so he stays with the house for 1.5 years, and then end of last year he says, you know what, I'm selling the property, do you guys want to buy it? And we asked, so how much do you want to sell it for? Remember, he got it for 280, and I'm not sure, but I'm saying 280,000, assuming that's a figure. Plus we have all these other figures where there's they call it the body corp fees, and then you've got the council fees and council rates. We don't pay water. So let's say even for a year we add 10 grand or 15 grand, and the upgrades obviously. So he sold now this house for 367,000. Now the new owner came in, no improvements, no nothing, and they are asking for 450, the market rate. And I'm like, what we asked when they were selling the house, we asked the agent, what do you think the price is going to be? And the agent was being very dodgy about answering that question, because understandable, he's not the one selling the house. He's not the one who's going to be the property manager. He's just selling the house. And we had been going back and forth. Anytime we get communication with the agents, because there's a, as I'm coming to understand the real estate market, there's a buyer's agent, there's a real estate agent, and now there's a property, like a rental manager or a property manager agent. And I'll still continue learning. So these are 3 people who are constantly in communication with me, and no one is giving me information about like exact certain things, because nothing can be said, because you can be, put to task and say, but you said this, so this is what it's going to go. They're very serious about what you say here. So they were avoiding and being very dodgy with answering that question, and I understand why. So here comes our lease is ending, and our lease ends before we get a new lease. And we're asking how much, guys, are you going to charge us? And they tell us, wait, we're waiting for instructions from the owner. The instructions come from the owner, and they say they want 450, and there was no room for negotiation at all. That's a $70 increase. So consistently it has been going up. Thankfully, it has afforded us to live next to the hospital, so we've cut costs in other things. But right now we feel like they're really pushing it, because anyway, we tried to do the loan calculations to understand why they would want to pay, they would want such a big increase. And it kind of makes sense, because anyway, it's their house. They can do whatever they want, and it's in a prime place, especially for people who work in the medical field. It's very prime, because you literally don't need even a car. Close to town as well. You can walk. Like before we had a car, I used to walk to town when the sun is not hot and back. But that $70 increase with no upgrades at all, like there's nothing else to do in the house unless rip off the carpets, like rip off the old carpets and put in new ones. And I'm crossing my fingers that's what they'll probably want to do. But when they came to visit the house and see the property, they said there's nothing much to upgrade. But $450 for a 2-bedroom, and I know I shouldn't be complaining, it's just that I am just feeling the discomfort of adding, and also maybe there's probably discomfort in being in the same place for a long time, and maybe I'm just tired of the house. Sorry, not for the house. I'm tired of the house, but I appreciate. Yes, by the way, there's a serious rental crisis where we live, and that's why there's a lot of like appreciation for that. But I think the market, not the person. I think the market is just taking advantage of this, and the landlord is not winning. The renter is not winning. I don't know who is winning in this rental market, to be honest. But anyway, that's a lot of rambling about my admin work this day. So that has really drained my morning, because I had to go to the real estate agent and they had to explain to me a few things as well, because of now with the rent increase that has been happening over the years, there's something that is called a bond that we at some point paid to them, and it went into rent instead of making the instructions of saying this is going to bond, and they should have remitted it to the bond people. So because of that, it went to part payment for the house, and now we have now gotten into arrears and we owe bond. It's so ridiculous. I'll check the emails. I didn't want to ask her there because it was just a back and forth, and it was getting exhausting at this point, but I got the answers that I needed regarding to the ledger. So I'll sit down and work out and see every time they're increasing the rent, was there communication of what we need to do, and I'll send them that back and say, okay, this is what we're instructing to do. Or I can just call the rental, the RTA, that's the rental tenant agreement or whatever. Is that it? Maybe, could be wrong. But the RTA people are the people who take the bond, so they're like an intermediary between the landlord, agents, you, and you as the tenant. So there's like a person who's here in between for mediation. So even when you have any other issues, you take it to the RTA people, they will sort it out. Nimeongea hadi nikasikia njaa. Let me eat. Just showing you how I'm making my toast, avocado toast. But I'm adding an egg, and now at this time this is lunch. It was meant to be breakfast, and this pepperoni, I'll have to finish this pepperoni within 4 days. So I'll make pizza with the remaining pepperoni over the weekend. I've got an egg. Where is my egg? What are you having? This is my daughter jokes. Yoni? Yoni? Wapi my yayi? I love it for her. So I've got straight from the fridge. I've got an egg. I'll use one half. Kuna haja ya kubakisha, tunikemea yote. So there goes my eggy, hard-boiled eggy. So I toasted in butter, so it's nice and crunchy the way I like it, nice and crunchy. There we go. I should have probably put the tomato paste at the bottom. To figure out, and the egg at the top. Yeah, I think that's what I will do. So all this is leftover food. This is upside down. Better. Kissy bell, baby. Kuna ugali, nyama huku. Watu hawakuli kwa hii nyumba. Kissing bell, baby. There we go. I'm just trying to remove this so that I can put some wet ingredients at the bottom and the drier ones at the top. So let's start with kama ni watu mnaona kweli. This is usually so filling, it's bland, but I don't want to make it. So, it's not what aesthetics, not like apple to pineapple. You bring that, and this here. You're able to spread it nicely. Okay, so you're able to spread it everywhere. Same thing. You're able to spread it everywhere. Like that. I'm not going to get a lot of it. Let's go. Dash of pepper, dash of salt. Then we're going to some tomatoes. And then it's in basil, and I think it's a bit of olive oil as well, but I usually add some more. So I love my tomatoes, to be honest. My source of vitamin C is tomatoes. I love some tomatoes like that. Okay, there we go. More tomatoes. There we go. And then next, some pepperoni. As we wait for the pepperonis, I'll probably start adding my eggs at this point. The pepperonis can come on top of. Let me just wait. I'll put this at the bottom, and then I'll finish up with some lemon and a dash of olive oil. There goes my yummy plate of goodness. Can you see? Taste tests. Let's see, where am I? Lopsided, but I know I have. I better did eat this one because you get soggy at the bottom. That's why I end up it's crunchy. I want to get the egg, salami, and everything with the salami now. I didn't get the salami on this side. Let me see. This is pepperoni, sorry. Exactly what I was thinking it was gonna be. Okay, let me enjoy my breakfast. Stop lunch.